everyone. My name is Oren Coach Right. Now, in this video, I want to show you real quick how this area right here, a simple breaker structure to the downside and also a starting point to the upside would have gotten you a beautiful sniper entry right over here. Let's get started. All right, so now let's go over to the drawing board real quick. You know, when looking at a starting point, what we want to see is the market rise up and then the market give us a nice pullback just like this and then a rise higher. Yes, we see this as the higher time frame external structure as the B.O.S, right? And we know wherever the last red candle or last sale candle is at, that's going to be our starting point. So yes, of course, we go ahead and mark up the high and the low of that last red candle and we say that this is the starting point. So yes, we're waiting for buyers to come back to the zone to give us a buy. But here's what I want you to see. As this market starts to come down, it hits the zone, but then it drops lower, giving us what we know as a change of direction. All right, so once the market closes below this level, it becomes a change of direction right here. And we're saying to ourselves, well, this is going to be the new starting point when looking for selling opportunities. So new starting point here. This is the start of the move that pushed the market lower. But I want to take your eyes over to this side over here. Now, anytime the market gives us a pullback, okay, inside the pullback, that's where the magic happens. So as you can see, what this market did, it went higher, okay? The buyers were in the move and they pushed the market up. Now, when the sellers came in, the sellers started to pull back just like this. The buyers came back in and it didn't go higher, but it created the structure here. But it was this sell candle here that pushed the market lower that created what we know as a internal B.O.S. Now, this part is going to really make sense once we start to get that change of direction over here. All right, this internal B.O.S. that's happening here, you probably notice it on the smaller time frame, but once that market shift up higher, ladies and gentlemen, all right, we know that this area right here becomes the head of the inverted head and shoulder that's here because after that market rise up, we're expecting buyers to come back from this zone and give us a buy because what we see with this B.O.S. is going to be our left shoulder right here. And down in this zone, we know that this is going to be the head. And right at the starting point, we want this to be the right shoulder where we're going to look for our buy opportunity. But the market did change direction, closing below the head. So all stop losses got hit in this zone right here. Now, again, this is where all the magic is going to happen inside of this left shoulder and breaker structure. Because right here was the last opportunity that the buyers had to push higher. So what do? We move this up and identify, okay, what we want to identify next, ladies and gentlemen, is the last opportunity that the buyers had before breaking structure here. Now, yes, we know this is the starting point. I'll change the direction area. But you ever notice the market sometimes like to come back deep into the zone and, put you into some drawdown? But watch how when the market now, as they're coming back up to this level, we are retesting what was supposed to be the area where the buyers came in, but we violated. This is where we're going to now look for sellers in this area. So let's go over to the live chart because I want you to see this. Okay. Now, this is back over on November 11th. Okay. November 11th in this area. Now, what do we notice? The buyers are pushing the market higher. Okay. We see that the buyers are pushing the market higher. We're here on a 1 hour time frame. Now, the next thing that we notice is that we have a break of structure right here. Okay, break of structure. And then we see in this area, this is my starting point. Okay, this is the last sell candle before the buyers went higher. The last sell candle before the buyers went higher. Now, what we want to notice next, ladies and gentlemen, is follow the pullback. as the market dropped. Notice when we dropped, we did not close below. But what do we have? We had a pullback, and then we dropped and closed below here, giving us a internal break of structure right in this area right here. Okay, so we're going to call this the internal B.O.S. right in this zone. Okay, so there it is, right in this level, you have your internal B.O.S. Perfect. So now, here's what I want us to look at, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so we'll just paint this red right here, internal B.O.S. Okay, B.O.S. and we'll just change the font down to that. Perfect. Now, look, this is the starting point. So we're just going to go ahead and put a line right here on that last buy candle right here. Boom. That last buy candle. Let's go ahead and mark it up, because once that market closes below, it can act as support on the other side. Okay. So once that market closes above, that's your break of structure. Boom. It acts as support. And this is how you get those gaps in the market, right? So right here, it's leaving a huge imbalance. All right. Imbalance in price right in this area. So we know this as a gap. So this is the starting point right here, but there's a gap right here. Why? Because of the starting point over here. So now, as this market decides to do what? Violate, close below. All right, you're thinking, oh no, the market just closed below, and we're going to be looking for possible buyers in this, sellers in this range the moment the market does what? Close below, right? So now, remember this area that we put here. Watch what happens next. Boom. We get a beautiful sniper entry right to that level right there. Okay? Right in this zone. Now, check this out. Now, right as the market came back up to this level, what are we expecting? We see the high, the low, the market made a high, and then changed direction, closing below again. Now let's go ahead and drop down to a lower time frame. Okay, here we are dropping down to a lower time frame, and what I want you to see in this zone, we're just repeating the steps all over again, but just on a smaller time frame. Okay, so the first thing we got was a beautiful rise up as the buyers did push the market higher. Now notice the pullback. What do we see? We do have a break of structure right here. All right, nice internal break of structure. Now, where are the buyers? Right here, the last buy candle sitting right in that area. So once this market gave us a beautiful change of direction, could we look for possible sellers? Doesn't have to be a big sale, but possible sellers right in this zone to react off this level here, possibly going short, stop loss above the high, boom, and then could we bring this market down to around this area? Okay, now we do see buyers trying to push up, but it's okay. We need that anyway. We need those buyers to come in. So could we have this move right here after getting that rejection right in this level? Let me know what you think, and I'll see you on the call 1 p.m.